What is up, everybody? What is going on, world? I am so happy to have y'all here with me for the very first, the absolute number one, day one edition episode of the Whatever I Find Entertaining podcast with your host, deethezo. Now, I cannot wait to get into it. I got a list of topics I want to get down. This first episode, if you've watched the trailer, you already know what it's about. So the first episode is just going to be me. And I just want to really just spend this time just introducing y'all to the concept of it and how do you say, get the parameters down. So how the show is going to continue forward from now on. But like I said, we gonna cover up a myriad of topics. Comic books, sports, video games, music, anime, whatever is what we're going to do. So, what I'm going to cover today, and it's going to be a relatively short episode today. I'm not sure how long I want to make them, but this was probably going to be shorter than they usually are because one, it's just me, and two, I don't want to rattle on too long, but we're gonna talk about coming to America. There's a lot to discuss there, but yeah, that's just one of the topics we're gonna discuss. We're gonna cover latest episode of Snowfall, episode 4. We're gonna talk about that before episode 5 is like a few days away, so we're gonna cover 4. We're gonna talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier because I'm super excited about that. I can't wait. I wish I started this podcast a little earlier so we could cover WandaVision stuff, but it is what it is. WandaVision's over. I loved it. Thought it was fantastic. It was a phenomenal show. Probably one of the best things the MCU has done so far, and I'm a huge MCU fan. And this WandaVision thing was just fan-damn-tastic. And I can't wait to see more of the shows. But Bucky and the Winter Soldier. I said Bucky and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was a show I was excited for first. Back when they first started talking about the Disney Plus TV shows. This was the one I really wanted. So we're going to talk more about that, about the trailer and everything. And then we're going to talk about Justice League, the Snyder Cut. And since it's due in a few days, just what I'm excited about, what I hope they don't do again, and mistakes I hope they avoid. I think we're just gonna get into it. Like I said, welcome to the podcast. I hope y'all enjoy yourselves because I'm already enjoying myself. But let me take a quick break and then we're gonna get into it. And just to give y'all a heads up, whatever I'm gonna always talk about, I'm always gonna list the topics we're gonna talk about in each episode at the beginning of the episode. But I will be, once we get to those segments, I'll let you know, hey, we're finna talk about this, we're finna talk about that. I will be spoiling whatever the most recent thing as of when the podcast drops. Whatever's the most recent content for that show or that anime or that movie or whatever we're talking about, whatever's the most recent, that is going to be spoilers, just so y'all know. So don't be like, oh man, I ain't watched last episode yet. Why you talking about it? That's what we're going to do here. This is your spoiler warning. I'm going to try my best to make sure I do spoiler warnings before I talk about each piece of content that I talk about. But just to give y'all a heads up, that's how it's going to go down. Okay, with that being said, let's get into it. Let's talk about Snowfall episode 4 expansion. It starts off with Lee getting himself something to eat with his gang. Well, I don't want to call him a gang. With his crew. Crew's a much better word. Crew. It shows Wanda out here trying to sell her tooth that she lost in the last episode, and Lee still got a soft spot for her. So he gives her a little money. I don't know if he buys. He didn't say he buys the tooth. But he definitely gave her some money, and I ain't see that tooth no more. And she definitely wasn't out there trying to sell a tooth no more. So I don't know. I think he might have bought a tooth from a dope fiend. But more importantly, Scully's people shoot the little restaurant up. Wanda ends up getting hit. Her Lee's crew takes her to the hospital, and that whole thing happens. Um, I kind of feel so sorry for. I mean, it's a running thing, and it's been in the thing since like the first season. I just feel so sorry for him because you could tell he loves the shit out of that girl, and he knows it's like it's too late. Like you can't. There ain't nothing you could do about that, bro. Just watching somebody you love hurt yourself like that it just sucks. But anyway, Franklin ends up showing up at the hospital. He tries to talk to Lee, and he's like, "Look, man, I know you want to hit Scully back, but he both our problems. So why don't we both hit him? We do it together. Get the gang back together, man. We be bros. We work together." We know Lee ain't trying to hear nothing Franklin got to say, so he don't really go for it. But he gonna hit him back. He just don't know how because that fortress that Scully lives in, which is they call it the Bottoms. It's like a motel situation where there's only one way in and one way out. So it's like a fortress. Like even the cops don't go in there. So he letting them know, bro. Like Franklin's trying to tell Lee, like it ain't gonna go down like that, bro. Like you can't go up in there shooting up the joint. And it appears that Lee is not listening, but in the very next scene, well, not the very next scene, but when he's talking to his right hand man, you can tell Lee is like, yeah, I can't just go in there shooting. I gotta get some more intel. I gotta scope the spot out. So he hires a private detective, and all that happens. But then you get to see Reed talking to Ivy. And I'm really starting to worry about Reed, and maybe I shouldn't because I should be worried about Franklin and his peoples. But I really like Reed. He's one of my favorite characters. I really like Reed. But he really seems, I guess, unhinged is the word I'd use. He not okay. I mean, he's going through a lot, but he not okay. I mean, he's physically hurt from that shootout he had, which was they could have went out of that a lot cleaner. He the one decided to use those loud ass weapons. That's on him. But yeah, he seems mentally not okay, and I'm really, I don't know. I want him to be okay, but who knows? Whatever. Then there's another scene where he's talking to. I don't know. Somebody else who does what he does, I guess. And he's being kind of arrogant and disrespectful and look, bro, just clean up my mess, man. What? Just clean it up. So that was I'm really worried about him mentally. I don't know what's going on with him. But, excuse me. The next scene, you get Franklin and his mom sitting down with that shady alderman type guy. I don't know what he actually is, but and they're talking business. But to me, Franklin really seems uncomfortable here. I mean, they're in a country club, but he doesn't seem very comfortable or happy to be there. I'm guessing because he's just ready to get to big deals so he can move his money around more. So he really doesn't seem okay with the situation. But I mean, his mom seems super happy because I guess the plan is so they can offer cheap housing to people in their neighborhood and give opportunities that people wouldn't normally give to them. But then after that, there's a scene. They go back to the hospital for a little bit, but nothing really develops the plot anymore. Then you see Reed again. He's in his office by himself, and then another government guy comes. I don't really know. I mean, maybe I should know who he is, and I just don't remember him. But he shows up and he's telling him, "Look, bro, you've been undercover a long." He's telling Reed, he's like, "You've been undercover a long time, man. You sure you're all right mentally, bro? Normally people ain't undercover as long as you've been undercover. You might want to get some help or something, bro." And Reed's like, "Look, man, I don't need your help, bro. I just need you to do what I tell you to do." And then he tells him to look up some financial stuff for Ivy or whatever. But then the next scene, which is so far in this season, my only problem, and it's a nitpick, it's just me being silly. But the next scene, you see that Lee has hired a private detective to spy on Scully so they can find out a way to get to him. And you see Scully just at a restaurant with his boys arguing over some movie stuff, and they're eating. And my problem with this is that this is like the second or third time in this season, this is only episode 4, where some people did some fucked up shit and they just casually hanging out in a casual place casually. Like when Man Boy, what did he do? What did he do to Scully? He I forgot what Man Boy did, but he pissed off Scully. Yeah, I can't remember why they beefing. Just know that Man Boy shot somebody on Scully's team. Scully getting revenge. They beefing. It's a turf war. They're beefing over turf anyway. That's the most important thing. But the thing is, after Man Boy shot up somebody on Scully's crew, they're like having this get together at the crib where they just smoking and drinking and listening to music and partying and stuff. And I'm like, bro, y'all just shot up they just like, yeah, I just had a shootout. Y'all just killed somebody. And y'all killed the crew member of somebody that's really dangerous. How y'all so casual about like hanging out and stuff? And then one guy like literally goes out on the patio because he think he finna get some. But it's so obvious he finna die. He goes out on the patio so he can get, just him and the girl so he can get some. And they ain't end up missing. But it was so obvious that it was gonna happen. It was like, what, bro? Yeah, I don't really get it. Like sometimes it be some real, like you would think cause these niggas from the hood, and they've been in the hood their whole lives. You would think like they'd be moving way more stealth than what they move. I mean, even when Lee gets, I mean, he ain't got no reason to think nobody coming for him. But even when Lee gets shot up at the beginning of this episode, he just at a restaurant, just hanging out, just chilling. It's just like the gangsters be real. The killers and gangsters in here be real casual when they shouldn't be. That's my little nitpick. But that don't got no bearing on the show. That's just me being goofy. That don't got nothing to do with nothing. It was just, that's just it's so funny to me. It's like to see these people, because I mean, they people. It's not like they some trained cold military killers. They people. Like, they just want to go hang out with their boys and get something to eat. It's just so weird that they do that like after that. But anyway, after that scene, you see the private investigator spying on them. But then it jumps to, I almost said Leon. It jumps to Franklin and his mom talking about what they gonna do, they plans, how they gonna do this investing thing. And Franklin's really happy. He's like, man, we're gonna invest here, we're gonna put money here, we're gonna do this for the people, we're gonna help the hood here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And you can see his mom's like, she don't share his enthusiasm. She's not as excited as he is. She's not as happy as he is. He's like, what's the problem? And she's like, basically, it's a dope ass scene. But basically, what it boils down to is, he's like, dude, you're supposed to be working so you can get out the hood. You keep forgetting. Like, we trying to leave the drug game behind, so we don't have to do the illegal stuff no more. We can just do the good stuff. And they get into an argument. It was a dope scene. It was amazing. But it's like, Franklin, you is kind of forgetting, bro. Like, what's your plan to get out of the drug game? Because you a smart dude. So far, you're like one of the smartest characters in the show. Like, you don't seem to be working on an exit strategy though. So like, what's up with that, bro? Yeah, but they have their argument. It goes great. I mean, I didn't mean to say it goes great. I meant to say the scene was great as far as acting and all that. It went great. But then after that, they cut to the hospital. You see Lee sitting by her bedside. Wanda. You see him sitting by Wanda's bedside because like he cares about her. It's very obvious. That's what I was talking about earlier. It's like, it must really suck to see somebody you care about hurt themselves like this. And apparently not even care about hurting themselves. But beyond that, once it jumps to the next scene, it's Franklin with his gang, Auntie, Unc, the dude who's like his bodyguard now. And Franklin's talking about expansion. Because one thing I skipped over is that Franklin and Reed have I almost called him Reed Richards. Reed have a they have a meeting, and normally they only meet when there's product to be made, to handle, but there ain't no product moving right now. So they're talking about how long how long they're going to be in business with each other, because now Franklin just got this fussing at by his mama. So it's like, yeah, I do need an exit strategy. So let me figure out how long I'm going to be working with Reed. He's like, how long you think y'all going to be fighting this war with these people? But it was a good scene too. I don't think it's necessary to the narrative of the rest of the show, but it was a good scene. I love it. I don't got no problem with it. But after that, that's when they cut to Franklin in a room with his crew, Auntie, Unc, and the guy who's his bodyguard now. And he's telling them, look, we need to expand. We need to get outside of LA. There's hella problems here. We need to move this stuff in other regions. We can't do New York. We can't do Chicago because people already got locks on those things. Where else can we expand to? And they talking about expansion. You know, Unc ain't down. Jerome just want to get back to drones jamming. I forgot what it's called. Drones jamming something. Jamming records? I don't know, something. Things happen with some other parties that aren't truly involved with what's going on with Franklin, but kinda. You see some stuff with his dad at the shelter. You see some stuff with the reporter. I'll talk about her in a minute. But yeah, you start to think she's super nosy. I don't know what her end game is or why she's so involved with what's going on with her. But then they do reveal that they tease it in here that maybe she was one of the real life reporters that cracked the government's been moving drugs into the country. So maybe that's her role she plays here. But anyway, the scene after you get that scene where the guy she's been looking for this whole time finds her and he gives her this information. But what I want to get to is, yeah. So now there's two more things I want to talk about this episode, and one of the things is the next scene is when Franklin is in the car with his bodyguard and he's dropping him off somewhere. I can't tell where he's dropping him off, but he's dropping him off somewhere. And the bodyguard is like, I quit. I don't want to do this no more. This ain't what I signed up for. I'm done. And the reason why I want to talk about this scene is because it highlights something that's been going on this season where I don't think Franklin's been handling his relationships with people the way I think he should, or I think he's been handling them wrong. One of them, for instance, with his bodyguard. Bodyguard's like, I don't want to do this no more. This is not what I signed up for. Blacks killing blacks ain't cool. I mean, killing the enemy in war, that's fine. But blacks killing blacks is not what I want to do. So instead of Franklin understanding that and being like, yeah, I get it, bro. Like killing blacks is whack. That rhymed unintentionally. I get it, bro. That does suck. I understand. Instead of him doing that and trying to work with the guy, because I cannot remember his name for the life of me. I'm just gonna call him Bodyguard. I work with the guy. He just says he gets it. I don't think he actually does. I think he just says he gets it, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm gonna just double your pay, and you gonna nut up, and we gonna do this. Like, you can't leave me now, so just quit whining and take this money and be my bodyguard." And the bodyguard's like, "Bro, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like, this is not what I want out of my life for me. I thought I could handle this, but I can't." What I think Franklin should have did was be more reasonable and more empathetic, I think is the right way, not sympathetic, empathetic, and understand that, yeah, this is messed up. This is not what anybody signed up for. Like, I get what you're saying, and maybe say, look, bro, if that's your problem, then look, I don't need you to kill anybody. Just protect me and don't worry about killing nobody else. If anything makes you feel uncomfortable, bro, just let me know. Just work with him. But it was just like, he was more of a boss, and he was like, listen, I understand your complaints. Here's some more money. It's like, money ain't gonna fix the problem I got, though. So don't throw money at me like I'm some bimbo. Like, he didn't really empathize with his problem, and that's why he didn't get the result he wanted. But another relationship I don't think he handling well is the Man Boy and the Scully thing. what confuses me is he goes to Scully and he's like, "Hey man, we need to deal with this man boy situation. Man boy be tripping," and he gives him a gun. But if you were really siding with man boy in the end and you were just setting Scully up, why'd you give him a really good gun? What was that about? Was the gun supposed to jam or something? Because most of the killing happened with the gun that you gave him. So I don't understand what. That just seemed really weird to me. I don't get why Franklin went to talk to both of them. Side with whoever you want to side with. I've had this argument with people who would have picked Scully and people who would pick Man Boy. That's cool. Side with whoever you want to side with. But I don't get why he went to go talk to both of them. That didn't really make any sense to me. But yeah, there's and also the thing with the older couple that ran the bookstore, how he kind of fucked them over. I don't know. He just seems to be handling situations weirder than I would expect him to. But the last thing I want to talk about is obviously the last scene in the episode. The shootout. It seemed I just can't wrap my brain around the fact that Scully's people. First off, from what I could tell, they fired first. It just didn't make any sense to me why y'all would get in a shootout and y'all got Scully's Gale and Scully's child in the backseat. Why would y'all get into a shootout? Y'all should have been trying to get the hell out of there and get them somewhere safe. But I mean, it's messed up that Leon probably ended up killing a kid. That's messed up because I know that's not something he intended. But it's like they were self-defense. It's like, here's some dudes that just shot at us the other day. We got to shoot back because we don't know what they on. I mean, why wouldn't they shoot again? Why wouldn't they shoot again? So, yeah, that was just like, I feel like that's so dumb on Scully people's part, bro. Like, y'all got these probably the two most important people in the world to Scully. He already unstable as hell on a normal day. On a normal day when there's no problems, he unstable as hell. I don't know how y'all gonna talk about this. Well, I guess everybody in that car died. Yeah, I think everybody in that car died. But that's 100% their fault, bro. Like, you would have got you supposed to get the hell out of there, bro. Yeah, but I don't know, man. That's on them. That's pretty dumb on their part. But that's it for Snowfall. Next thing I want to talk about is we could just go through the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer right quick. I'll be back in 1 second. Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer. Like I was saying earlier in the show, this is the show I'm the most hype about. Like I've been hype about this since they announced the original shows that they were going to put the Loki, the WandaVision, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was like, Loki seems like it's going to be cool. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but it seems like it could be cool. I mean, of course, I love the actor that plays Loki. I love that character so far in the MCU. So, yeah, I want to see more of that. The WandaVision one seemed like it was going to be just like a satirical, we're making fun of family comedy drama shows, which was, that's fine. I mean, the Dick Van Dyke and I Love Jeannie type thing was a little bit before my time, but I enjoyed those shows. So it just seemed like it was going to be that. It turned out to be way more than that and way better than I could have ever anticipated. But it was great. But we ain't talking about that now. I missed the chance to gush over that. The one division's over. I thought the ending was fantastic. Honestly, I don't have no complaints. Most of my theories are wrong, though. I will go on the record saying that. Most of my theories I had about that show out of maybe 10 theories, I maybe got 2 right. Maybe. And that's me being generous to myself. But we're here to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Trailer looks dope. It definitely looks like it's going to be a complete, total opposite of what WandaVision was. And I don't mean that in no negative way at all. This is going to be more action-oriented, which is great. It's a great turn of pace. Switch it up. Do something different. Why not? But, the trailer shows some more Baron. It shows some kind of possibly powered people. That was alliteration I did not mean. Possibly powered people. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, it seems like a group they may be fighting may have some kind of powers. At first, I thought those people were working with Baron Zemo, but he don't like powered heroes, so he probably not gonna hire some people with powers. I can't quit saying people in power. Okay, I don't see him hiring people like that. So I don't. Maybe there's different. They're gonna be tackling different things. I'm assuming there's gonna be another 9 episodes. So there's got to be like a villain, but there's also got to be like a challenge to face in every episode. So maybe this little group, because it looks like it's about 3 or 4 of them, but it may be way more. And there was an interesting conversation that Falcon was having with a lady, and they were talking about how this is the way things are. They're different now. You don't have to be a criminal. It's like, you don't understand. This is the world. Like, I gotta be this. And like, maybe he was trying to talk her from doing something wrong, and she was trying to tell him, look, this is how it is, bro. I'm not changing. You can hang that up. But it looks fantastic. The action looks dope. The action has always looked dope. I cannot wait. It took long enough to get here, and I absolutely can't wait for it. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the best things that the MCU has done so far. I feel that about WandaVision. I feel like WandaVision is one of the best things the MCU has done. And I'm not saying it's better than any of the movies. I'm saying as far as executing a plan, going, here's what the show is going to be, here's what we want the show to be, and then what the show ended up being. I think they executed that so well. It's one of the best things they've done. I also think this show is going to, Winter Soldier and the Falcon are going to be the same way. It's going to be a well executed plan, because the difference here is, with a movie, you only got so much time. Like, nobody's going to want to watch a 4-hour movie. Zack Snyder. Nobody's going to want to sit in the theater and watch a 4-hour movie like every time. Like, for stuff like Endgame or Infinity War, sure, because that's like a conclusion to a bunch of other stuff. But nobody's going to want that every single movie. I don't care how much I love Spider-Man. I don't want to see a 4-hour Spider-Man movie. This is no. But the benefit to a show is that there's way more time to develop everything. Because, like, for instance, WandaVision had like 9 episodes, and each episode's like 30 minutes. So that's like more than 5 hours of content. When a movie is only like 2 hours, 2.5 maybe. 2.5 is kind of on the long side, to be for real with you. You get 6 hours here, you just get it at 30-minute intervals. So it's like, here's 30 minutes here, here's 30 minutes here, here's 30 minutes here, here's 30 minutes there. So you get way more time to develop these characters. And that's why Wanda has now, currently, as the day I'm saying this statement to you, as the day you're listening to me say this, has more development than anybody else in the entire MCU, any other character, because they had like 5 to 6 hours to develop her. You got to see her backstory. You got to see what happened to her as a kid. You got to see how she got to where she is now. You got to see a lot of stuff on her. But I can't wait for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I can't. I have so much faith in them now. Because, like, watching an MCU movie, it's like, yeah, we know they got a formula. They formula is super successful. We already know. Like, there's no reason to expect there's going to be another bad MCU movie. There hasn't been a bad one for a long time, and I don't think they're going to have any more misses. I just don't think so. I mean, I know, and when I say bad, I mean like public opinion. I don't mean like my personal opinion, because like I like Captain Marvel movie. Some people might not. So some people may think, no, that was a bad one. But like public opinion, meaning overall, most people agree that was a good movie. That's what I mean by I don't think they're going to have any more misses. Yeah, but these shows are different, though. There's just a different way to tell a story. And now I can say, after watching WandaVision, I'm as confident in their ability to make shows as I am confident in their ability to make movies. So I got no reason to doubt them after that. But yeah, that's all. I don't know much about the show. I don't know what's going on, so I ain't got much to say about it. But by the time the next time you hear me, I would have seen the first episode. So I'm probably doing a lot of next episode is probably going to be a lot of Falcon and Winter Soldier. But for now, we can move on to the next. I think the next thing we're gonna talk about is Justice League. Yeah, we gonna get into that. The Justice League. It's a few days away. That 4 hour romped into Snyder's vision of what Justice League would be. From what I've seen so far, because I'm like most people, I hated the original Justice League. It was surprising how what's the word I'm looking for? How they managed to make a movie worse than Batman versus Superman is surprising. I don't know how. I don't know how they pulled it off because I hated Batman versus Superman. And Justice League was way worse. Justice League was 1,000 times worse than Batman versus Superman. It's so hard to wrap my brain around them. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all the things that the Justice League movie did wrong. I'm here to talk about Snyder's cut. And from what I've seen so far, it looks like a totally different movie. It almost looks like a sequel to the Justice League movie. Like, it really does. It just it looks like a sequel, and the scenes that you see in the trailer that were in the original Justice League just look like flashbacks because of how much more impressive the actual movie looks. And one thing you'll learn about this podcast is I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC, but I love DC too. I just prefer Marvel. Like if you put a gun in my hand and say, pick one of these universes, man, you only get one, I'm gonna pick Marvel. But I love DC too. I didn't have very high expectations for the original one. I don't have high expectations for this one. I hope it's better. I hope it's better just for the simple fact that DC purists, meaning people who only fuck with DC, this is all they got. Like, if this movie's bad, then like what else is there? It's like they put all their, I just feel like the DC purists just put all their marbles in this bed. They bet it all on black. And like, if this doesn't pay off, that's it. If this is bad, like I don't even know what the next DC movie is even supposed to be. So like, I don't even know where we go from here. So I pray it's good. I hope it is. I got low expectations for it, but I mean, I hope it's good. I hope. I think that's all I got to say about the Justice League trailer. It looks good. It looks great. But that don't always. DC is great at making trailers. They're great at that. They're also great at spoiling like really good moments in their trailers. But I'm not gonna hate on it. I'm not gonna hate on it. It'll be out the next time. Like I just said about Bucky and the Winter Soldier. I said Bucky and the Winter Soldier again. Like I said about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Next time we come together on a podcast, we will. We'll know. We'll be able to talk about it. We'll know how good it was, Justice League and the Falcon. We'll know both. I'll have my opinion for you. I promise you that on episode 2. So episode 2, it's gonna be some shit. Cause we gonna have episode. Well, we're not gonna talk about next episode. Not right now. What we are gonna talk about, I'll be transitioning. What we are gonna talk about is the final thing, the last topic I got. The Coming to America reboot sequel? The sequel. I guess it's not. I just feel like when you update a movie that's that old, well, yeah, when you update a movie that's that old, then it just kind of, I feel like I gotta call it a reboot. Because you're introducing it to a totally new audience. But anyway, yeah, we're finna go on. We're finna talk about the Coming to America sequel. Coming to America. 3, 2, 1. Now, when it comes to Coming to America, see what I did there? I watched it. I watched it with my brothers. We watched it just on a whim. We was like, hey, we didn't have nothing to watch. Hey, let's watch Coming to America. We put it on. We watched it. I didn't plan on watching it then because I wanted to rewatch the original before I watched this one because it had been like 20 some years since I seen Coming to America, the original. So I wanted to rewatch that first so I can, I'd be in my mindset, or I can catch Easter eggs, or I can catch, I remember when they did this, because I just honestly couldn't remember the first. I barely remember the first Coming to America because it had been so long. But we watched it, and I just to get it out the way, now, so you won't be confused. I hated it. You know what? I didn't hate it. I'm not gonna say I hated it. I did not enjoy it though. Hate would make me seem like I was angry at it. It was just meh. It wasn't very funny, and I didn't really care about any of the characters like I did with the original. So I didn't hate it. It was meh. It was very meh. If I could, on a scale from whack to dope, it was meh. So we all watched it. I'm not gonna speak for anybody else, so I'm not gonna tell you. I might get them on podcasts in future episodes to get their opinion on it. So I don't want to tell you how they felt about it. The people I did watch it with. I had a conversation with somebody I work with, and they were telling me, man, you only judging it based on, the original Coming to America. It's not as good as that one, so you saying it's whack because it's not as good as that. But what I didn't tell him is, honestly, at that time, I couldn't even remember the original Coming to America. So I wasn't judging it based on that. This was almost as if I never even seen the original Coming to America. And I'm seeing this through a lens of somebody who's not familiar with it. So after having that conversation with him, I thought to myself, I want to talk about this on the podcast. I'm gonna watch the sequel again. Because you can't judge something off one watch anyway. Not if I want to talk just like if I'm talking to my friends and family and my homeboys and stuff, then yeah, we can crack jokes all day after watching it once. But if I want to give an educated opinion on something, you can't just judge something based on one watch. So I was like, I'm going to watch it again, but I'm going to watch the original first and just watch them in order like that so I can see why the original is so loved and why this one is like whatever, not loved. So I did. I definitely did. And the second one of my biggest problems with it is the cast. They brought back a lot of originals, which is good. They brought back Eddie Murphy's character, Arsenio Hall, Simi, James Earl Jones as the king. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sarah Haiti. She played Eddie Murphy's girlfriend. She came back. The Barkin princess, I guess is what you call her. I don't even know her name, but they brought that lady back. They didn't have to. They brought that Paul Bates, the guy who's like. He announces, he's the one that was like announcing, like he woke up Eddie Murphy in the first one. He announces when people are leaving and coming in the room and all that. I don't remember his character's name. And I don't really know what his job was. But he was just like, please welcome the king and the queen. And, he was that guy. John Amos is Mr. McDowell was back. Louis Armstrong was back for some reason as the white guy. And funny enough, and I never can remember I never knew how to pronounce her name. And the only thing I really know her for is being Jamie Foxx's girlfriend in a Jamie Foxx show, which she was fantastic. But yeah, she's also the Vulture's wife in Spider-Man Homecoming. I know she's probably did hella roles in between that stuff, but that's all I know her for. She's back too. That's why I brought her up. She's back too as just like Rose Petal girl number 3. I don't know. Like she was in the beginning of the first one, And that was, I don't know. She just rose petal girl. I don't know. She has no speaking lines that I can remember. She definitely don't have no speaking lines in the first one. In the second, I doubt she had any speaking lines. But yeah, they brought her back too. So those are, as far as I can tell, those were the coming back characters, the characters that were in the first one. Um, I brought that up because one of my biggest problems with this was the cast. It was just so many people who just seemed like they were just thrown in for no reason at all, or the characters that actually had roles were played so weird that I couldn't tell if the movie was in on a joke. Like, am I supposed to take this character seriously, or like what's happening? Like Wesley, I almost said Whitney. Wesley Snipes' character. He's like this really eccentric, like, war general, but everything he does and says is like really goofy and silly, and like, it's like, am I supposed to take him serious, or is it supposed to be a joke? Because he's threatening war and violence and blood and all this, but he's like, I can't take him serious. Another thing about I forgot to say. Another thing about this is that this one was more family oriented, like family oriented movie, not like the movie was more about family, but like, because the original was an R, it was rated R. This one's rated PG-13. So like, I guess they couldn't do, I don't, I guess they couldn't do more serious stuff, but it was so clear at some points in the movie they were making adult jokes that didn't belong in a PG-13 movie. It's like, why not just make it R again? And just like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, like Wesley Snipes' character, Rotimi is in here, and he has like maybe one speaking line, but he's only in the movie to be made fun of. So like, why? Why get a recognizable face to do nothing? Like, that's always weird to me when movies do that. Everybody's gonna recognize. Oh shit, that's Dre from Power. But you get him in here and he just doesn't do anything. He's weird in like two scenes, and then that's it. And he gets made fun of. I I don't really get it. Morgan Freeman's in here to give a eulogy at a funeral where the guy doesn't die until the end of the funeral. I don't know what that was about, but damn, it's just so weird, bro. It's so weird. Leslie Jones plays a huge role in the movie. I just feel like the director should have told her to just bring it down a little. Like, she was just so on 10. And this movie didn't call for a 10 performance. Like, bring it down. Be like at a 4 or 5. Be more chill, please. They they had my boy Tracy Morgan in here to play an uncle. And he definitely had speaking lines, and he definitely, I mean, he didn't like do anything with the plot. He wasn't needed for the plot to move, and you definitely could have taken him out of the movie and it wouldn't have changed anything. I just don't get why he's there. I don't get it. Like, then they had my boy Trevor Noah in here playing like just a reporter, and he's just reporting on stuff, and it's just like, why get these recognizable faces if they aren't going to do anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have probably got like a struggling actor to play these roles, and it probably would have been much better. Like, not that I'm trying to take food out of anybody's mouth, but let's keep it real. Tracy Morgan ain't hurting for money, and neither is Trevor Noah. I just don't like, if it wasn't any importance, why get such a recognizable face? I mean, these are people who you recognize instantly, like in like a second. Like, if it doesn't help the plot, then why do you even need to? I just, I don't know. They had some weird casting choices, and I'm not really sure why. But I mean, it's whatever. What's done is done. One of my biggest issues with this movie, and this is what I didn't realize until I went back and watched the original, is that the original, I'll say the sequel, is so obvious. Like, the story's so obvious and so like straightforward and just doesn't try to do anything out of the ordinary that you know exactly as soon as the female character's on screen, you know exactly, oh, that's gonna be his love interest. You just know right away. And it's not because they had any chemistry. It's not because you just know. You can tell. You can tell from the writing. It's like, yeah, watch this. It's like watching a white girl run through the forest in a horror movie. She gon' trip. She gon' trip. She ain't gonna trip over nothing, but she gon' trip for damn sure. And then they always trip. But and that takes me to another one of my biggest well, let me finish talking about this first. The movie doesn't really take the time to make these two characters like each other. I ain't gonna say make, to let these characters fall in the love that they're in at the end of the movie. It just doesn't take the time, and it's kind of like it's weird to explain because the movie feels slow and rushed at the same time. And by that I mean it's like nothing's really happening, and then all of a sudden everything's happening. It's like, whoa, slow down. So the first one really took time to go here, to take you from Eddie Murphy being nothing in her eyes, not even existing, to wow, they really got a connection. And they really, like, I see why these two care about each other so much. It makes sense. There's so many scenes where Eddie Murphy proves he's a good guy. And there's so many scenes where what's her name? Lena Headley? What is her name? Lisa. I don't remember her. I'm trying to remember her real name. Sherry. I think it's Sherry. It's Shari. I think it's Sherry. So she, like, you can see her receiving all the information that we're receiving. It's like, dang, this is a really good dude. He's a really nice guy. He's really that, like, it's believable that she falls in love with him. In the sequel, it's like, oh, you the prince and you don't want to go by prince stuff. Cool. And then he's like, oh, dang, you see that I don't want to live by the regular prince rules. Okay. And it's like, okay, now they like each other. There's not really any, I mean, there's like there's a scene where she's doing his hair when she's giving him advice. Then there's a scene where they walking and talking in like the garden. But it's like nothing happens in those scenes. There's not like a we gonna fall in love by the end of this movie type of deal that happens in those scenes. They cool, they chill, and then they're in love. Like, wait, when did the love thing happen? Which is going to segue into another problem that I have with this movie: the relationship developments. Like when the New York people come to Zamunda, because the Joneses or the Johnsons. It was the Johnsons. It was like Junson. What a weird last name. The Johnsons comes to Zamunda. They should have been called Coming to Zamunda. This movie should have been called Coming to Zamunda, not Coming to the Number America. This movie should have been called Coming to Zamunda. That's really tripping me out. They really missed it because it's all about the New York people going to Zamunda and getting used to that. And it even ends with them in Zamunda. So, yeah, I don't know. That's anyway, that kind of threw me off because it just hit me like a revelation, and that was kind of throwing me off. But yeah, they when the Joneses, I'm just calling them the Joneses, bro, because Jones is weird. The Joneses go to Zamunda. It's like, of course they don't fit in. They're from New York. They're from America. Like, they don't know African traditions. They don't know. Of course, they get that. But like these people who are royalty, they're African royalty, now meet some people who not even American rich. Like, they broke Americans. They're not even royal. They're not even rich by Americans. And so not only do they not understand royalty, they don't understand African traditions, and they just don't even understand just having money because they broke. So there's the people butt heads like right away, which is to be expected. Like that's nothing wrong with that. That's how that should be. But then at some point in the movie, everybody's relationships are just pieced together. Everybody's fine now. It's the party where the prince is supposed to meet. That's another one I didn't cover. Tiana Taylor's in this movie too. And once again, it's another recognizable face that they didn't give anything to do. So why have a recognizable character in this role if nothing? She's just there to play the the dog lady again. She's just that again. I don't see the point. But anyway, the relationships just get mended at that party. Like everybody's cool now. The Eddie Murphy's baby mama and his current wife, they butted heads, and she was like, it was super cool. They're drinking and they're buddies. It's like, when did they get cool? When did that happen? We never seen that scene. Like, when did that happen? They didn't like each other. Now they're singing. What are they singing? Humpty Dumpty? It's your chance to do the. I forgot what they were saying. I think they were singing that, but I don't remember. But yeah, they're cool. Who else? The sister and the brother, they kind of cool now. Eddie Murphy's the oldest daughter, and then the prince. They're like chill now. They're cool. I mean, she helped them with the hunt thing, but it didn't really seem like they were like cool. It just seemed like, look, I'll help you build this cage, whatever. It didn't really seem like they were cool now. But then they got cool. Who else? I don't remember. It's just, relationships just got mended off screen, which is bad storytelling. But I forgot Michael Blackston was in here too. I forgot about that. Once again, he was in the beginning. He did this weird introduction for Wesley Snipes' character, and then he was just no more. What's the point? It's like they just got. Well, I already talked about the character thing. There was another thing that this story did weird is the whole how he ended up getting her pregnant. It was written off as a joke, but really it's not all that funny. He got drugged and she forced herself on him. And they kind of wrote that off as a joke, like, yeah, he was high as a mug. He thought he was having sex with a boar or something. And it's like, nah, bro, she drugged him and raped him. I don't know if I'm maybe thinking too deep for this movie, but I mean, that's what happened though. So I don't know how else you could take it. But that's definitely what happened. So that was super weird, bro, that they made that a joke. But maybe I'm thinking too deep about it, maybe. I don't know. Because he even said he didn't even realize he had sex with her. Like, so you tell me that's not a drug and a rape. He didn't even realize he had sex with her. He said, yeah, I met her. Yeah, but we didn't do nothing. I mean, we smoked a little bit, and then like an animal came in the room and it attacked me. But then he realized, nah, that wasn't no animal attacking him. That was him having sex. So he didn't even know. That was like, which is actually leads me into my next complaint. The tone of the movie seemed very weird. Like they. It was just the tone of the movie was off. First, there was way too much like there was way too much like, oh, how do I put it? Like modern music. I mean, I guess. And the music was, first off, the music was just too much. Like it was too like, soon as a song come on, you go, oh, they're playing that song. Like it was just very loud and just very overpowering. Where the music in the original was very subdued and in the background and very calm. It was a lot of like R&B type things. Well, this one was just like new age rap, and it was hella loud. But that's not the point I want to talk about. The tone, like I was saying about Wesley Snipes' character, where you're like, he's talking about causing war, bringing war to the door, to his doorstep, but it's like he's walking goofy and talking goofy, and he looks goofy. It was just weird. And then there was a joke about the drugging that I already talked about. It was like, and then they kind of glossed over the whole sexism thing about how like women in Zamunda. It's such a weird. I mean, I get for when the original one came out. Honestly, it came out the same year I was born, just so I can date myself, so you can know how old I really am. It came out the same year I was born. I'm pretty sure. And I get the sexism then, like women can't do this, women can't go here, women are just this. This is their only role. I get that, but in this one, I thought that the movie was going to take a more progressive role. And it did towards the end, but it did it at the end. It wasn't like a gradual build. It was like it just did it at the end. There was this whole thing about how his wife really doesn't have any, the king, Eddie Murphy, the king. His wife doesn't really have any agency. She's just kind of there. She does have one scene where she tells him off and kicks him out the bedroom. But, I mean, she was like fake drunk then, so I don't know how serious the scene is supposed to be taken. But, like, it was mainly about his oldest daughter, who everyone believed that she was going to run the kingdom when Eddie Murphy steps down. But then he was all like, I need a son. Like, kings got to rule. Like, and I thought to myself, yeah, I get it. They're trying to point out how, outdated systems aren't, like, they aren't keeping up with the times. Like, even those these people in Zamunda are super. Well, actually, here's the thing. I was finna comment on, Zamunda's a super rich country, because when I think about it, I think about Wakanda. But they don't really actually go anywhere in Zamunda. Now that I think about it, in either one of the movies, they never actually leave the king's estate or his grounds in both movies when they're in Zamunda. You never see the country. So is the country actually thriving? You only ever see these people that not live in the castle, but at least work in the castle. Like, that's all you ever see. Huh. So you don't really know that's another miss point for both movies. But no, that's not a miss point in the first one, because the first one was about the prince going to America and discovering this crazy land. So Zamunda wasn't really important in the first one. You just know that's where he's from. But in this one, they go to Zamunda. And you learn all about, like, what you're supposed to learn about Zamunda and this culture and everything. They do talk about previous kings, but, like, they don't even talk about how they even got into power. You just know about they rule. They always have, they always will, I guess. The only thing you do see is that there's a McDowell's in Zamunda in just, like, the middle of nowhere. There's not even any roads leading to it. So it's like, how does this work? But for all I know, that Zamunda could have been on the palace grounds. For all I know, I don't know. But yeah, the point is that, like, I don't get, and once again, I'm saying it's me. I'm not blaming the movie. I'm saying I don't really get, like, what they were going for. It was like I'm trying to think. I don't know. Were they, like, pointing out the fact that this system is outdated and Zamunda may be behind in times, even though they're super rich? Because it's like, oh, a woman can't lead. I'm like, so you'd rather a dude you've never met before, that's not even from this country, rule than the woman who's born here, who's probably the most qualified to run? And, like, what? Like, I get that, like, I get. It's like a fascist place, and y'all sexist, and men supposed to rule, not women. But y'all gonna trust a dude y'all never even met before, who's not even from here? That's dumb. That's stupid. That's a stupid system. And another thing that kills me is, and I guess they kind of tackle it in this movie, but it's like the king feeling like his hands is tied, like there's nothing I could do about it. And it's like, dude, you the king. You make all the rules, and you have to follow no rules. Why can't your daughter lead, bro? What are they going to do to you? Like, the army going to attack, which takes me to my next point. I'm transitioning, baby. I'm transitioning. Everything's leading into everything, which tackles my next point. Is that there's this whole subplot that if the king can't find someone to marry one of the general's kids and link their countries together, then he's going to have war and he's going to attack, which I don't get how that would benefit him. But I guess it's revenge because the general is the brother of the dog girl from the first one. So he's like, man, you screwed my daughter over, bro. Like, I mean, you screwed my sister over, bro. Like, what the fuck? They actually talk about that at the end of the movie, and it was like another dumb throwaway joke. He says to him, because everything's neatly wrapped up by the end of the movie. He says, "So thanks for relieving my sister from her curse." And I'm like, there wasn't no curse, bro. There was no, like, was that supposed to be? That's what I mean about this movie. Is like, was that supposed to be a joke? Like, oh, haha, they thought it was a curse. That's hella funny. It's like, was that supposed to be a joke? Am I supposed to take that as a joke? Because it doesn't make, no matter how you look at it, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, in the first one, Eddie Murphy told her, because when he realized she'll do whatever he says, he's like, bark like a dog and hop on one foot. And she does it. But Eddie Murphy leaves and goes and marries a different woman, so you're not betrothed to him anymore. So why would you still be doing the thing he told you to do like 30 years later? And he already married somebody else, so you don't have to be his slave. So that didn't make any sense to me. That's why I was like, I wish they didn't bring that character back. Once again, not trying to take any checks out of anybody's mouth. Get your money where you can. But that just didn't make any sense to me, bro. Like, so she's been hopping on one foot and barking like a dog for like 30 years. Are you serious? Because I think it's about 30 years takes place between these movies. It's like, is that a joke? Yeah, because it has to be like 30 years. Because the son, the prince, in the movie says, I'm 30 years old, man. I need to change my life. So yeah, it's been like at least 30 years. That was just so dumb. But anyway, that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is Wesley Snipes' character is like, hey, if you don't find somebody to marry one of my kids, then we're going to bring war. So what I can't figure out is, you telling me the king is willing to have this complete stranger that he don't even know running his country because he's so afraid of what this general can do as far as war is concerned? It's like, does Zamunda not have an army? I mean, it's a kingdom, so it should definitely have some type of military might. Why is he so afraid of this general, that this general can just he can come and go as he pleases and makes as many threats as he wants? I'm so confused. But then by the end of the movie, like, it was just Simi and the king's daughters. They took him out, no problem, just by themselves, just those four people, just Simi and the king's four daughters. I mean, the king's three daughters. They did it by themselves, and that was it. That was the end of it. Because the general comes in and he's like, hey, your son's supposed to be marrying my daughter, man. Where is she? And they have a fight scene, the fight scene was fine. It was okay. But it's like, that was it? Like, what was the king so scared of? He just doesn't seem like he's all that much of a threat. Four people just took him down, and then the next time you see him in a movie, it's him talking to the king, and the king's like, oh, so the trade route's open back up. He's like, yeah, we finna have a peaceful relationship, man. It's like, what happened? Like, 3 kids and an old man. Because, shit, Simi and the king gotta be like, because that was 20. He had just turned like 20 or 21, and the king did in the first one. So, and they were about this. They appeared to be close in age. So this is 30 years later. They got to be at least 50. So it was just 4 kids. It was just 3 kids and a 50-year-old man brought down your whole regime, or convince you otherwise. So I don't get what the king was so worried about. Like he could have just like I don't get why it was such a big deal for his queen. I mean for his daughter to just take over what he's done. Like, I mean I get it's a man driven society, but it's like y'all Zamunda though. Y'all don't why y'all going by the same rules as typical other monarchies? But whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I've been rambling on a long time, and I don't want to go too much further. So one of my last points I'll make is I'll go back to the whole the 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 jokes. Um, that they just didn't hit because as I said at the beginning, it wasn't very funny, and I think the reason why I say that is because sometimes the jokes are like, oh wait, was that a joke? And it like it's funny. The jokes range from oh, was that a joke to oh yeah, that was a joke. That's the scale. That's the scale of the humor. The only really honestly funny part in the movie was the barbershop scene. And that wasn't even as funny as the original barbershop scene. But it was probably the funniest part of the movie, to be honest with you. Like nothing any of the other characters do is funny. It's funny. Nothing they say or do. And then the main guy, the prince, who I haven't really talked about at all, his performance, it just goes from I can't tell if he's being serious to I can't tell if that was supposed to be a joke. Like I don't know. Like the scene where he's about to cut the ponytail, he's telling the barber chick to cut his ponytail, and she's just telling him like, "Be on, man," and he's like going in between, like he's saying some stuff to her, and he's like they want me to fight a lion. What is this? Yada yada yada. He makes some jokes and stuff to her, and she's laughing. She's enjoying the jokes. She's laughing, but then she's like, "Be." She says something to him like, "Be your own man or be your own prince." And he gets up out the chair and he's angry. And it's like, wait, whoa, wait, what? Have you been angry this whole time? Or did your mood just switch like that? I don't know. Were those jokes you making like for real? Those weren't even jokes. You were being for real? Or like what's I don't get it. Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't believe his performance, and I think the main problem is every one of the original characters that they were in the first one, they did a phenomenal job in here. Even with the limited stuff that Mr. McDowell had in the second one, he still did a good job with it. I think the problem with this movie is the new cast. I think all of them didn't. They were either there for no reason and had nothing to do, or they characters were just like, what are you going for here? I don't understand it. This is all very weird, bro. It's all very weird. So I don't know. I will say this. I'm in on a positive note though. I'm gonna try to that's gonna be the theme of these podcasts. They're always gonna end on a positive note. The the original cast were phenomenal. And especially with being 30 years in between, like 30 real years, like real life years and 30 years story wise in the movie. They did a phenomenal job. They really did. Like you still believe the chemistry between Lisa McDowell and Eddie Murphy's character. You still believe their chemistry. You still believe Zimmy and I said Zimmy shit. Simi and Hakeem's relationship. You still believe that. You still even believe the king and Simi. How the king used to shit on Simi all the time. That's still believable. Like all of it is like you really get like the relationship between Eddie Murphy and his daughters was really dope because I think he got like 3 daughters in real life. But that was really dope. Like all of that was really, really well done. This movie just feels like everything that's not the original cast is like all the additions were like they're bad. They're bad. Like none of this is good. But like I said, we're in on a positive note. I think they did a phenomenal job. The original cast did a phenomenal job. And there was a lot to like there. There was a lot to love, to be honest with you, with what they were doing. It's just, you know what? We're going to wrap up there. I've been rambling on along, and I can honestly ramble on way more than I have. But we're going to end there. We're going to end on a positive note. I just want to thank y'all for hanging out with me for this. I can't wait to do more. There's so much more coming. Next episode, we're going to have, we're going to be talking about probably some Attack on Titan, probably some Winter Soldier and Falcon, some Justice League, Snyder's Cut. Yeah, I can't wait. We gonna have a lot to talk about. We'll have a lot to talk about. I may even just a bit of a Marvel style teaser. I may even have some audio of a certain discussion between some certain people. Maybe. It's not a promise, but I might. But other than that, we done. This is the end. We're wrapping it up. If this was an Oscar speech, this is what a sad music would be coming in, and they'd be telling me, get off stage, you've been talking for too long. But once again, I want to thank y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all spending y'all time listening to me ramble about nonsense and listening to me talk about whatever I find entertaining. But please go ahead and share the podcast. If you're listening to this on a platform that allows you to rate, please go ahead and give it a rating. Be honest. I would appreciate like positive reviews, but I mean, I'm only going to get better if you're honest with me. So please go ahead and give it a rating if you can. I know all platforms don't allow you to rate, but if you can, please go ahead and let me know. And also comment. Send me. You can message me through here, and if there's anything you'd like for me to talk about next episode, feel free. But on that note, thank y'all for hanging out with me, man. I love y'all. I'm out. Peace.